powerful than a locomotive, able to leap tall buildings at a single bound. Up in the sky, it's a bird, it's a plane.
Wait, you rock.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to a very special 6 in 60. Why is it special?
Because Gerard's not going to talk that much.
Gerard's not going to talk that much, and that was actually some viewer feedback. They were like, less Gerard talking. So we're going to accommodate you. No, we have a couple cool things going on. One, we're not going to stick to our format that we barely stick to. So there may not be 6 sections. There might be 36, or there might be 2. Also, we are brought to you without midway commercials. We're brought to you special today by RoninVape.com, our wonderful sponsor. What flavor of theirs you smoking on right now, buddy?
Dojo.
Dojo.
It's
sounds fancy. It sounds
Lucky
like
Charms.
It's Dojo Lucky Charms,
Well,
or it's Dojo
called
and then you change your
Dojo.
mind?
It's a Lucky Charms flavor.
Oh, because
Yeah.
they can't say Lucky Charms because
Yeah,
they don't.
no.
Makes sense. It adds up. Do you like it? Is it delicious? Are you bummed out that they might
tastes
they
like
might
Lucky
classify
Charms.
it as tobacco, and if they do, they'll have to tax the shit out of it?
No, that didn't pass in
Sweet.
California.
Good
So
news.
I was up on that shit, and I would sign the petition.
You were all up on it. Great.
All
So if
up
you're
on it.
trying to quit smoking, it worked for Gerard. It could absolutely work for you. Our friends at RoninVape.com, they have a very cool logo treatment. Not as cool as something that we would have whooped up, but don't worry. Ronin will contact you. We'll let you know how to fix it. RoninVape.com. But most importantly today, we have the CEO of U.S. Comics,
The better
my
looking
brother,
Rivera.
the much better looking Rivera. His name is Jon Rivera, and he is sitting in with us all hour long. I, of course, am your host, Charlie Rivera, the COO of U.S. Comics, and we're joined by our buddy Gerard. He might be the co-host of this, but he ain't shit at U.S.
And I'm
Comics.
done talking.
And he's done. He purchased 2 shirts, though. So be like him. Purchase doubles of whatever we offer. Gerard, how you doing today, man? Sweating your balls off?
Yeah.
Worried that you won't be as important on this episode as normal?
I'm not important.
You're
on
a
any
liar.
episode,
You're
even when it's
always
just me and you.
important.
So,
Always.
yeah.
Johnny boy.
What's up?
What's up, kid? Anything important happen in the world of U.S. Comics today?
Well, we are just back from the first official get-together of the entire executive board of U.S. Comics.
Oh, that's why both of you fags are wearing shirts.
That's right. They're
Makes
uniforms, sir. Uniforms.
How
Oh.
dare you?
Yeah,
It was
they're t-shirts.
It was
They're
pretty.
t-shirts with screen printed logos.
Yeah,
Most
well,
uniforms are t-shirts.
Don't worry, we'll
Well,
get skirts so that you and your friends
fine.
can one day have
It's
uniforms
fine.
that are
And pom-poms.
exposed and pom poms. Delicious.
I want pasties too.
Little nipple tassels.
Yeah,
Excellent.
but they're stars, so it fits the whole
It
U.S.
adds,
Comics.
it adds
line.
up. It actually connects the giant U of stars down his chest. It was super strange, actually, getting everyone together in an official capacity. We had office space, which was super weird.
Yeah, we took over the offices of IAHCP. They will never be the fucking same.
Never.
No.
It's
For the
frankly,
better.
it's almost the equivalent of when 2 people have relations in a car. The car is forever changed.
Yeah.
Just like
Forever unclean.
Forever unclean. U.S. Comics. I've been talking about it here and there. I've been talking about what we as a company are promising, what we're gonna try to deliver in a big scale, way. But John, as the CEO of the company, as the senior editor. Gerard, slide
What?
the
I
picture
don't
over,
get it.
you dumb son of a bitch.
There's
well,
more
he's,
pictures.
He's literally looking at me like not
Slide,
like
slide.
Like he
How a
can't
good
say
phone works.
anything.
Well, he's
Just
I was
tell
doing
me.
the
He was-
seals.
yeah, he
the
was-
seals.
It's
hands
very
on.
nice. I could see now.
God
I
damn
get
it.
I'm like, what the fuck are you talking about?
already off the fucking tracks 3 minutes in. Johnny boy, I'm glad we got a sponsor before. Like we never have to worry about sponsorship after.
Nice.
Because we wouldn't get it. So John, walk me through U.S. Comics. When we go
Hold on,
online,
real
God
quick.
damn it.
You guys have your names on the board, and you're the only 1, 2, 3, 6 people in that room. So
No,
this,
we had an audience.
So this is in case you guys forget each other's names.
It was for
Am I right,
posterity,
John?
sir.
It was for glory.
Okay. All right. No, just asking.
Wow, that was
It's it's a fair question. One of the things that had been coming up because so much was happening at once. There was a little bit of a crossover of who does what, like whose function is requisite of something else. So you might have one guy who was kind of dipping a toe, so to speak, in the water of really what works out to be someone else's function, somebody else's job, and rather than having kind of a scattered, scattered
So
efforts.
it's like a reminder of everyone's jurisdiction.
Exactly. We wanted to make sure everybody was focused on what was expected of them, and then once your homework is done, then you get to play.
Yeah.
Then you can kind of worry about jumping in somebody else's,
And how? Yeah.
It is it is a strange thing that we're doing, in as much as, and Gerard has kind of been involved since conception from a friend way. Like, he's been seeing this odd thing.
Yeah, Gerard's
that John
been
and
privy
I
since really
were
day one, yeah.
working on,
Yeah, I've been
and
the bitch.
never, and there
Just
hasn't,
be honest.
there
Like, it's
hasn't
been bitch work. Bitch,
No,
do this.
but I'm sure there's been a lot of also. What do you think about this? Would you read that? Would this catch your attention? I mean,
There's been none of that.
It's been more of me
I
telling
mean,
him, be
from
like,
me.
oh,
It's been-
you're
it's been
gonna like
more
this
of the-
now.
Yeah, it's been more of that.
Which
like,
is,
hey,
and I'm always
Say
right.
this is good.
Am I ever wrong? No, I'm not.
agree
I'm
with
not.
this. I get it.
What's kind of crazy since conception is the if we chase it all the way back, which we won't, at this point anyway, this all comes from something very simple. It comes from John and I being a distance apart age-wise. So John had to do a lot of work.
Fucking guy calling me old.
I
like, within
am
the
calling
first
you
5
old.
minutes
The
of the
first,
show?
technically, we're in the
You're
6-minute
the more
mark.
distinguished.
damn.
Well, what I think it was is I was still playing with toys, and John wasn't as interested. So it became, what can we do? How can he communicate with his younger brother and still be entertained? So very
Like,
early
what can
on,
you guys bond over? That's
exactly,
like a common ground.
it kind of became John impressing me with skills. The earliest one I can remember is Ghostbusters, where John said he wanted to draw something. I really think that it might be re-envisionist history, but that's how I remember it. I remember you wanted to draw something. You said, what do you want me to draw you? And I was like, draw me a Ghostbuster. Make me a cool Ghostbuster. And John redesigned a Ghostbuster costume.
Mhm.
It was in his like very early style, kind of reminiscent of the work you did for this book, for the encyclopedia. Very stylized, very new. He kind of he justified why certain things were certain ways. And that kind of led to the game of fix it. All right, Charlie, who do you hate in the X-Men? I fucking hate Wolverine. Fix him. And the game became, let's make a story and change the costume and justify shit that doesn't make any sense. That is the really long path we've taken, the 20-year journey probably, to get where we are. So it was never an idea to let's create a comic book character and write a comic around him. That was never going to be enough. So I think I haven't seen it done before. It must have been at some point. But as far as contemporary, I don't know of any two idiots who didn't even have a toe in the field say, oh, not only are we going to create a comic book, we're going to create a fucking universe, because we can't possibly say it's the normal world and someone gets bit by a worm and the worm's a space alien. Now you got worm space alien guy. It was never enough.
Write that down, Gerard.
Worm, space. Got it.
So, I mean, that's how it felt for me. It felt like we kind of hit the ground running with a normal game of make this cool. Why don't you like Spider-Man? Well, this is what I don't like about Spider-Man. We'll make him cool. They already did. He's Daredevil. Okay, we'll make non-blind Daredevil. And I do feel like it's been a little over 20 years, a journey to get us here. So what we've crafted over 9 months, give or take?
9 months, yeah. 9 months actively.
9 months we've actively created a roster of what technically works out to like 65 if we count the redundancies and the extras. But it's
No,
really an encyclopedia of 50.
It's about 50. Technically, it's exactly 56.
56? Okay.
56 characters that anyone who picks up the book is immediately introduced to. Everybody has face time. Everybody has established storylines of who they are, what they're capable of, and probably more importantly, what camp that they fall into. Kind of the short version of it, the elevator pitch, so to speak, is you as a reader are introduced to this universe worth of characters, and by universe I mean the colloquial, comic book term of universe. Though it is, there's spaces involved and whatnot in the history and the storyline of
Probably
it.
more than one universe involved, which is how insane And
Oh yeah, for
so,
sure,
and like
for sure.
it is a matter of being half a sociopath. But
Well,
please
one
continue.
more than one solar system, not
Yeah.
necessarily one more than one universe. But regardless of the fact, so as the reader kind of goes through the pages, they're introduced to this huge storyline. It's as if a person had never read a Marvel book,
Yeah.
and they're reading Civil War, or you're reading you've never
You don't
read
get caught
DC
up in that
before. You're
bullshit
reading Kingdom.
origin story.
Right. Well, yeah,
Hey, here's this person. Here's his name.
exactly. It's not
Here's
necessary
why
to
he's
the
so fucked
storytelling.
up.
Now, here's the thing,
It's annoying.
and
Here's his love interest.
I'm glad you brought that up, Gerard, because when you're crafting these brand new characters, the fucked up part about it, not the fucked up, but part of the challenge of it is the fact that you still need that.
Yeah.
Even though where any particular character came from, how they came about, is important and is a requisite to the storytelling. For the story that happens from the cover to the back page of this particular comic, it's not necessarily that important. All the reader needs to know, and what they'll come to find out in the very first few pages is, look, every character that's worth their salt falls neatly into one of three categories. You have the super powered slash mutant slash gifted slash whatever the terminology that different comic book companies refer to them as. Ours are referred to as Anunnaki, which the reader will come to find out the reason why it's not just a cutesy name or anything like that. It's a very specific name. It's a title more than anything, and it's their progeny. It's kind of where they came from, how they came about to have powers.
Yeah.
So the launch book will tell you how people have powers. Where did it come from? Then you have mystics or magic wielders, however you want to use it, mages, whatever. So magic exists in that universe, and there's a core group of characters who that's exactly what they are. That's how they're identified. That's how they go through life. That's their purpose. And then you have humans who have no earthly right playing on the same field as these
God.
gods and
Yeah.
gods and demons and whatnot. But suffice it to say, they do. And not only that, they kick fucking ass. They kick ass and they take names literally, and they get paid
Yeah.
to do so.
And it makes sense. It's
And it totally
one
makes
of the
sense.
hardest things I found doing. Not to interrupt, but it's great to set the chessboard. It's wonderful, and this is going to be the part where I sound like I'm towing a company line, but really it comes down to my frustration. It's great that they're doing another Secret War, super duper Secret War, and they have Civil War 2. But the first Civil War
More
took
civiler.
Yeah, the
Yeah.
first Civil War took a very long
Shit's
time.
gone civilized.
Took a very long time to set up. A very long time, comic book wise, to build a certain level of frustration between two characters, and the payoff was spectacular. When I first read Civil War, my fucking face melted. Peter Parker reveals himself because it's a registration versus no registration. My problem with it was this. And Gerard, you love Civil War from what I remember. So I don't mean to blaspheme. The problem was,
Blaspheme?
at the end of the day, the tension I thought was superficial. Well, everyone knows who I am, and I'm Iron Man, and that's not a problem. Well, you're rich.
Yeah.
So Pete down the street ain't rich, so he doesn't want to unmask himself. Well, they could be menace. That one mutant was a dick. Well, the one mutant didn't mean to explode. So I don't want to fight.
Right.
But I do. Oh, okay, we'll fight then. It seemed like it wasn't. They never
didn't seem like they got
really
to,
played with
it didn't seem like Iron Man could lose everything he's got by
It never seemed like Peter
like,
Parker.
there's nothing to gain or lose.
If Peter Parker actively said, fuck you to Captain America, why would Captain America ever be like, well, I know one time you kind of fucked me over in a huge, massive scale and caused the war where we were like trying to kill each other, but we're cool again. There's no ramification.
No.
So building that into the core of the story was difficult, but ultimately a key component, I think. I mean, was that your desire behind it, or was it just simply from a creative standpoint? Because we're so similar, John, that I forget when our synopses fire differently.
No, forgive me if I'm wrong, but so the question is what? It's having consequences to comic book action, or is it the
Just
character
placing the
development?
universe the way we did, and we have humans that kick ass.
Sure.
Were they because we wanted kick ass humans? Were they because we found a great story to tell with them? Or was it one led to the other, or they just always
Well,
coexisted?
it's like the human race is the the natives, so to speak. So now you have, it's not, and obviously again, I don't want to bury the lead or give away anything, but there's a flashpoint, trademark patent pending, of events that happen where beforehand you did have this otherworldly, almost certainly mythic, but somewhat, people very much, some people questioned if it was even true. This legendary, mythic, godlike character that was kind of just floating through the history, the timeline that we've established. And when Charlie talks about the creationist of the effect of this universe, we started at the beginning. And what I mean by the beginning was the beginning of creation, the Big Bang. We took the history line and crafted it from there moving forward.
Right.
We didn't leave anything out. And again, it goes towards continuity, and it goes towards knowing the answer to something before the question pops up. Even though that's going to have zero effect storytelling wise in this launch book, which is going to be the equivalent of 3 comic books. So this is one of the things that we talked about today during the movie during the
Three
meeting, rather.
trades or like
No.
No, like
Again, we
3
were talking
single
about
issues.
it's
Single
not a,
issues.
it's not
bound
a
together.
graphic novel. It's bigger than a jumbo edition. It's probably closest to the old school annual books.
Okay.
Anywhere from 60 to 70 pages total of comic book action,
There's like
and
an
it's broken up into
introduction
3
into
chapters.
the
Not really.
creation, or
Not
No,
really.
No, and
It's-
the way that it is, it's actually going to mimic the way that the monthly books are going to roll out, God willing. In that, rather than having titled books, this character number 7, that character number 4, the books are actually going to carry the demographic
Mm.
title. So you're not going to have spoiler alert. Our
I think
most
it's safe
powerful
to say that all of this is a spoiler alert.
our most powerful character, our Superman, our Captain Marvel, what have you, is a character by the name of Anu.
Mhm.
So any of the history buffs out there, the name will be familiar. It's actually kind of a popular girl's name in India right now. It's
Nice.
it's a mythical character. It's a god character that actually carried over multiple demographics and regions of the Middle East in antiquity,
Mm.
which I always find interesting. I said, those are the characters and stories that I think carry the most weight
Yeah.
when it's more than one group or civilization that's like, oh yeah, that's a thing.
Mm.
That's what we're into. So that's this character that's floating around, and there's a period of time where that's it. There's this character, and it's common knowledge and blah blah blah. Then we're gonna have a flashpoint where everything changes on a dime. So this is story that's going to be referenced and established within it, but that's not the actual story. You're not seeing origin. You're not seeing episode 1 of a franchise movie. You're being dropped in the middle of the action. The shit has hit the fan, and then you blink, and all of a sudden the reader is there, which I think is going to make for page turning type of reaction. We want people to jump in with feet first, and be involved and invested in the action, and then say, okay, now why did what's going
Yeah,
on?
'cause
Why
they're
is this
hoping
happening?
that with the turn of each page, hey, maybe something will
There's
be
answers.
Yeah.
It's
Like,
like
I'm
Lost,
still-
but with a
yeah.
payoff. So,
It's like Lost with a cum shot.
so
That's not a bad tagline.
So,
U.S. Comics.
Make
it's
the
like
t-shirt.
Lost with a gunshot.
so
Gerard Nolan.
each chapter,
Great, link me to that.
each of the specific chapters are going to emulate in the future the
Mm.
monthly books, where you're going to have these events, this action, and you're going to see it from the vantage point of each of the 3 demographics. And there's your reader's introduction to not just the demographics, but the characters that make up that particular demographic, their take, their angle on the action, on what's going on, their opinions, the politics and whatnot involved, and also the story that moves forward, because they share a common timeline.
Mm.
You're not going to jump back in time in chapter 2 to 6 months earlier. No, it's a story that moves forward from point A to point B, and the reader's going to be carried over. It's just their camera angle, so to speak, that's going to shift. We have one character that we are going to hopefully in kind of in Schindler's List type style, where the camera would pick up that little girl in the red dress,
Yeah.
and she kind of advanced the story plot line, and it went from the eviction from the from the ghettos into the going all the way to the to the camps and whatnot, and then you eventually see a corpse type of deal. We promise you, on top of plenty of action, all the answers that you're going to need to go into, God willing, the monthly run of the 3 books. But you're going to have action, you're going to have blood, you're going to have, we think, humor and dialogue, and the art is going to be gorgeous because
Touch
we
of
have
romance even
we have
smuggled in there, which is weird.
we it's a little something for the ladies.
Now, do you guys want to keep it like what rating would the reader have to be, like PG-13?
That's a great question.
or
That's
rated
actually
R?
something. That's actually something that came up in the meeting today, which was I wouldn't call it a point of contention. Would you, Charlie? It was.
I think a lot of people. It's for me. A lot of things are just from a place of wanting to know and wanting to have a clear cut answer for something that may not be clear cut. Not a hurdle, but I think certainly an interesting facet to this is John and I are Stan Lee. We are making this world with a group of people, but a lot of what exists is in our souls and in our brains and in our hearts, and sometimes doesn't perfectly line up. I do believe that there's a very real possibility that one of our 3 monthly titles might function more like a Max series or a Marvel Knights back in the late 90s, early 2000s, that it's not necessarily across the board PG, and it's not across the board PG-13. I don't think we're ever going into crossed territory where we're going to have unnecessary tits flapping and bloodshot.
The reason why
and
I ask,
faces
because if
getting
you're
melted.
having if you're not having so and so character number 9, so and so character number 8, whatever, and you're having all these books kind of intertwined together, these 3 books
For sure,
and one
they
has
run on a
lot
concurrent
more
timeline.
fucking violence and a lot more cursing than the other one, but they kind of all are supposed to be read back to back. You're kind of.
Let me ask you this,
Are
though.
you fearing losing readers because
Can
there might be
I-
the younger kid that can read that one,
Yeah.
but then his parents see the other one and say, "Well, fuck no, you're not reading that one."
Let me tell you
and now
two
he's
things.
completely lost.
Let me tell you 2 things from my point of view. One, there is a conversation John and I had with the other boards, and it was this concept that I have and John has helped trumpet of us versus them. That's not just a fun little saying that football teams have against each other. It's not us just saying, "You're going down, Marvel." It's not what we're saying. It might turn out to be true, but it's not what we're saying. I don't fear jack or shit because I know there's an audience that are our equals.
You
that
want to do
range
what
from
the
20
big guys are
to
afraid
6.
of.
I absolutely want to. And I'll say this
They
just
can't
to say
afford
one
to
more
make
thing.
those moves.
Exactly.
artistic
What
moves.
does our story mandate is my question first. Little Timmy may not be able to read all 3 monthly issues. I promise you they won't get lost if they can't read all 3 monthlies. I think for the most part we're aiming for an audience that will read all 3 and can read all 3, and we're certainly not going to do anything for gratuitous purposes.
Just because the
I
going
would
trend
think-
now with nerdy things like San Diego Comic-Con and like New York Comic-Con, there's a day just set for kids. You know?
Totally.
So if you go with the blood, sex, and violence, that's just that's just my question. That's all.
No, and it's a great question.
No,
It's a great question. I don't have a definitive
Why?
answer for you
Why?
yet.
Why?
Well,
What I
It's
can
in the
tell you
it's
is
in the
it's
story in the storytelling that's going to come to. That's gonna we're gonna get clarity personally. Like for example,
Don't lie, you guys never thought of this. This is a great
no, this is it was
I
a great
promise
question,
you it was
but
a question
it
today.
was something
Yeah,
that
yeah,
it was
sure.
something that we spoke about today,
Right.
and the reference that I used, my personal preference in terms of action and what people have seen, is Invincible level.
Mhm.
I love Invincible. I love
It's a PG-13 that has R moments.
style wise. I dig it. It's a little bit more sophisticated in terms of what they show.
Mhm.
But one of the really great things about it, and we'll talk about the guys by name because this is public knowledge. The gentleman that's our CTO, he's our chief technical officer. He's the guy who's constructing our website. He's also the guy who's constructing our reader.
Mm.
We are gonna launch with a comicsology type reader on the website for subscription base or individual purchase. Now, there's a few things that we're going to do on that, which this is where it gets exciting. Where there are things that we think in a car ride going to going to the movies or going here or there, where it comes out, what's the quote? You know what would be cool?
Yeah. ...
We started collecting those, and we said, fuck it. It would be cool. Let's just do it. Let's do it. And when it was outside of our expertise level, we reached out. And with this guy, Carl, he's fantastic. He's a guy I work with at IAHCP, and he's just capable of so much. And he's one of those guys where he'll say, you know what would be cool? And then he tells you some shit that you didn't even think existed as of yet. He's talking about potentially in the future having and instead of us having, bubblegum trading cards, each character has, has something like with this virtual headset reality, 3D reality. You put your phone into the thing, and all of a sudden you're like in a character's living room, and in 360, and like just absurd, like shit that I'm like, yeah, that's from a science fiction movie.
And not only
what are
is he
you
saying
talking
it,
about?
That's the thing, like with all the things
And then
we
he
have
shows
now, like
you.
VR and like 3D printing.
And this guy
you can buy a
knows
3D
stuff.
printer for under $900.
This guy knows things that exist and how to get them, how to use them that we don't. We're like, that's Star Trek. What are you talking about? That's an actual thing already, and he's got his finger on the pulse already. But just really quickly, one of the things that we're going to be able to do, and I'm excited about,
fanny packs.
You buy
US
fanny
Comics
packs for
fanny packs.
everybody. You buy the book digitally. Let's say, for example, you buy the book digitally. Fantastic. Thank you so much for your purchase. Enjoy it. If you buy the paper copy, which is my personal preference, call me old-fashioned or just call me old, we're going to give you
It's
the
something
digital
that doesn't
copy
really
free.
die. Yeah.
How people are going to love that. Comic book guys, comic book heads are going to
Collectors,
appreciate
do you
that shit.
prefer using our and again, Comixology is an amazing resource, but we're not just using their reader. We're designing our own with very special things in mind that will reward you for reading it digitally. But also, it is a comic book. I don't want to lose what it is. Now, you said something before, Gerard, that rings very true, and I think one of the things that we'll prove is it's not that we have nothing to lose. It's that we have fucking everything to gain. About a week from now, you can tell me if you want me to edit this out, John. A week from now, if you go to readuscomics.com, you will be rewarded.
No, for sure.
It's
the
me
first,
personally, not
it's the
you
first
people.
No,
Me.
everyone.
tickle to the
No,
audience.
me.
When I say that this, I've experienced it, and I couldn't believe it. It's something that the big boys don't do because I do not think they're brave enough to. Let me rewind one sec. And if anyone has a point, please put a pin in it. But it was something John said a couple minutes ago, and he said it tongue-in-cheek. But I mentioned that there is a touch of romance or insinuated romance or there's a
Sexual tension.
there's something going on. John said a little something for the ladies. Now, obviously, he was using that as a popular nomenclature. Everything is for everyone. I know girls who read comic books and then they go, well, that was bullshit. Who the fuck am I supposed to relate to? Gerard, who in comics do you see and you're like, I want to be that guy? Just throw one out there.
Deadpool.
You want to be Deadpool.
Sure.
John, when you were younger.
Superman.
No
Batman,
shit.
yeah, whatever.
Me, Nightwing. I was always like,
Yeah.
he's a fucking better Batman.
Sidekick.
Yeah, well, things happen. When I promise you that guy, girl, Asian, Hispanic, black, white, Samoan, there is going to be someone that you relate to. There's going to be someone that you look up to, and there will be fucking someone you want to be.
There's going to be somebody who looks like you. You're like, oh, shit.
You might hate him.
I'm a superhero.
Yeah, but still, it's something.
Why are we now saying, oh, there's a Supergirl TV show, there's a Batgirl this, there's a girl Green
Why
Lantern, there's one of the Kid Flashes is a girl. Stop it. Are you kidding me? You're telling me every girl wants a pink t-shirt that says girl power? Stop it. How many intelligent, attractive, beautiful, strong, brave, bold, ugly,
None.
fat, skinny
women
do we see?
Let me
It's
ask
a
you
joke.
this, Gerard, as a comic book consumer.
Got them all.
How many female characters can you name, aside from Wonder Woman, who's the big one that people drop, that is not, no, hold on.
No.
See, I'm glad you said that. That is not a derivative character. She's a standalone, designed as a female character, and is good. Not like good guy. I mean, is a
Like
good,
just a good character.
interesting character.
Maybe Elektra.
One.
Yeah. Hard, right?
And I'm not saying that there are not more out there. I'm saying that we
Lady
have
Deadpool, but that doesn't really count.
Let
as a
me-
Lady
joke.
Deadpool's the exact
Yeah,
opposite.
let me
right?
ask you something.
Those are derivatives.
Yeah.
Gerard, we have 28 original female
Ass-kicking
bad-ass
women.
female characters. Now, here's the other thing, and this is something that happened organically. At no point when we sat down did we say, okay, we need at least 28 female characters because we want to be inclusive as a company. Golly gee.
Fuck
No,
no.
it
No, it's
happened,
just-
Gerard,
yeah.
because we're not limited in our thinking. You know, we're not kids, obviously, and I'm older than Charlie, but with everything that's going on around us and all the change that's happening societally, it only makes sense. It's not a conscious decision. We're
Yeah.
just tapped in. Yeah, we have characters of every race, creed, again, sexuality, sex. But that's because that's
What
the
works.
world. You know,
Yeah.
It's not even what
this is a
works.
story-
It's reality.
this is a story that is like is asking the question, all right, if superpowers and magic came to be in this moment, even though we do rewind time a little bit and we actually begin kind of the mid-90s, how would it work? Who would be
It just
included?
seems like a lot
Who
of
would it
these,
affect?
A lot of these characters are still characters. It seems like they all have been developed in maybe the 60s, late
Yeah. Sure.
70s,
Because that's what
and
they
there
were.
was
Right.
no advancement.
Because as new characters
even like
came
with
along,
new ones come along, they still like go by those guidelines.
and they fall very, very neatly into those categories. You know, like I said, people joke around, like to break balls to Superman. Well, why is he wearing his underwear on the outside? Okay, good question. Why the fuck did the next 75 characters that were created all do the same thing?
Yep.
It's because they were like, all right, well, we need to
works.
we need to continue this formula.
Yeah.
And our formula was very simple, was what's going to make sense. There are certain characters of ours that will have a look about them that's going to look like, oh, that's a superhero costume. But when you look closer, you'll see that,
Yeah.
okay, well, that
Yes.
quote-unquote superhero costume is comprised of actual everyday shit. We don't have a tiny little Edna whatever character that makes superhero costumes.
Which was a
you're
brilliant thing
first-
to do, which is why we didn't do it.
Right, but again, depending on their background, depending on their abilities, what's requisite of them,
Just their resources.
it's what
and
made
whatnot.
sense.
Can I ask you something, Gerard? Just a couple hypotheticals. Tell me what DC superhero I'm describing. They have black hair, blue eyes, and they're a white male.
Yes.
Half
Yeah.
of them?
Yeah.
Let me ask you this. And again, this little Easter eggs. One day you'll get to read it and you'll know what I'm referencing. Johnny Storm, when he goes on fire,
Yeah.
the fuck's he wearing that doesn't burn at all? Didn't he like melt Victor Doom's mask onto his fucking
And now,
face once?
there is a technical
I thought there was a suit that was developed for him by what's his name?
by Reed Richards.
Yeah.
but not in the very beginning. Like
but
later
also,
on.
But also,
But
they
even so let's take that logically. And again, ultimately,
But what
are
about
we
the
talking
times
about
that he's
funny
just
books?
wearing his
Yeah.
clothing?
Yeah,
and
for
then
sure.
does it,
Absolutely.
and then all of a sudden,
What
he's
would he
fine.
wind up?
Like all of his clothing
Mm-hmm.
are flame retardant.
That's all I'm saying. Continue, John, with your
When
train of
Bobby
thought.
Drake goes ice, his ice look is completely form-fitting. He looks like a naked
yeah.
ice guy.
But meanwhile, he's wearing clothes.
But what happens to his clothes in the interim? I mean, look, these are
the only
things
thing that kind of made sense was Dr. Manhattan.
Dr. Manhattan make perfect
Yeah.
sense.
Yeah, because it wasn't
That he-
real.
He
That
made
super
himself.
Schwartz just hanging out all over
Yeah,
the
but
place.
even when he made the
Little panties?
the panties
They were
out of
fake, yeah, they
they
were
were
made out of-
fake, but
Right.
he just
Nothing.
did it, to do it.
But again, that's because they took that time to say, like, the fuck's going on with Dr. Manhattan's crotch?
Yeah.
And it's also one of the more forward-thinking creators out
One
there.
of the most
Well, that was the
Alan
thing,
Moore.
like,
creators.
Watchmen was so not like all
Yeah,
the
it
other.
was revolutionary for its
Yeah.
time.
What's fucked up, though, is as revolutionary as even Watchmen was, clearly one of the most creative things done ever. Like, to really turn the
There's
genre.
very odd
they-
superheroes. Like one guy had
No,
a fucking
it's
bag
not-
and a
it's
noose.
Not, it's
No,
not
it's not-
that
it was-
odd.
No,
it was supposed to be
from
Blue
what-
Beetle.
from what
the
we-
question, DC wouldn't let him do
No,
the
but
characters.
from what we
They're all-
know
what I'm
right
saying,
now,
though,
like
is that
the typical
familiar.
Batman,
even
Superman.
even that
Yeah.
was supposed to be fixing of characters that needed fixing.
But those were also, he was emulating golden age characters who were almost like novelty acts. You know what I mean? Like if they were you know, strippers on fucking burlesque and stuff, they'd be like, oh, here comes the noose guy. Oh, here comes the butterfly, you know, costume chick. So that's just what they did.
almost
then.
seemed like a parody in themselves.
For sure, absolutely. And it was saying something that era was dead.
Yeah.
And this is this new era, this hyper violent, unstable, you know, you don't know what they're gonna fucking do type a group of characters. And that was saying something also. He was talking about the comic book industry there, which I totally dig. He can be a douchebag socially and politically sometimes,
who
but nobody can doubt that the guy's, you know, he's a great mind who
to me,
does
though,
funny books,
I'm
which is
not
great.
interested in your political or religious fucking beliefs. You made Watchmen.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you make fucking Batman, Superman,
Right.
whatever. I don't care
V
about
for
anything
Vendetta.
else. You,
you know
you
what's
deliver
funny, though?
me
He-
what I want.
What's
I don't
really
care.
funny is
It's
he
an
was able,
entertainment.
but he was also able to do both, which is something that this comic isn't just this universe that we've created. It's not just to be enjoyed. We're saying a shit ton. Whether or not you pick up what we mean, whether or not you read it the way we meant
That's
it,
on you.
we're just telling the things we want to tell. V for Vendetta, Watchmen, his Batman shit is all super political.
Yeah.
If you know, once I knew his mindset reading those books, I could read it my way or his way.
Yeah.
Because the Star Wars argument why I don't acknowledge the special edition is because they're mine now. We want to put something out into the ether that's like that. We just have a lot of shit to say.
Right.
Now, my one question is with
SpaghettiOs.
if
hate 'em.
you jump into the digital world,
Yeah.
would you go about it like download it, buy it, pass around the PDF to your friends? We don't care. Just share it. It's an art, you know. Or are you going to be super protective? Be like, no piracy, no this. Like, you have to buy it, you have to own it. You can't because I feel like that. You know, I buy a comic book or a graphic novel. I give it to John. I give it to you, Charlie, and hey, read this. It was really good. I don't see it there. I don't see it different.
Here's the difference.
From digital.
Here's the difference. It is in every single way.
I also believe that music should be free.
I think it's the first, and I'll tell you why you're wrong about that too.
Oh, thanks. 'Cause I'm not
this is at the end of the day, DC isn't necessarily in the comic book business.
Right.
A better example is Marvel. Marvel's in the movie business now,
Mhm.
and they make comics to justify their movies.
Right.
You illegally stream their thing, like, yeah, it might take a penny out of them. We will only exist through patronage.
Right.
Right. We I think the short answer is out of the gate, we're gonna need people to pay for
Right.
what they get from
There's
us.
going to be plenty of free shit.
But
I was
as
just
it
curious if
grows,
you're going to do a thing where, you know, we don't care. Just, you know.
No, we care.
as an eventuality,
Fair
we
enough.
very well may get there because it'll help us grow faster that way.
Mhm.
But out of the gate, you know, every penny will be accounted
How are
for.
you going to
now,
fund all the stuff you're giving?
It's a great question.
Great question.
You know?
That's what we wanted to talk to you about. No, I'm just kidding.
We need you to sell. Yeah, start
our initial push is going to be through Kickstarter.
Mm-hmm.
So there's going to be a lot of information going to all of the entities online and social media, and we'll drop all of those links and stuff before the end of the
Yeah.
show. But it's going to belong to the readers, and that's a really big part of what we're doing. Look, we realized very quickly in every conversation that we had with people about it is that what we want, all other comic book readers want, all other aficionados of the genre, really, it's what they want. The things that we don't like, that we hate, with very, very few exceptions, almost everybody doesn't want or hates. So, you know, when we went about saying well, how are we going to be different? What would we do? If you had carte blanche to do what you wanted to do, if you had a comic book company, the keys to the kingdom, how would you do it? We took that shit seriously.
Yeah.
So, like, I wanted to touch on that, what you talked about digitally. Yeah, we might ask for people to pay for everything up front digitally, but what we're going to give you is a better experience. We are building our own reader, and a couple of the things that are going to be dope about it is as you turn pages, reading it digitally, you're seeing the full art first. We're going to have a fade in, and you'll have the option. We're going to make everything customizable to the reader. You'll have the option to have a fade in, which is how I would do it. You turn the page, you see all of the art in its 100% of the art, and then the word bubbles or the dialogue boxes, from the man above, will fade into it. So you're seeing the street lamp that's drawn behind the word bubble in Spider-Man that you missed. That art exists.
Yeah.
When you commission the artwork, each one of those panels, each one of those pages,
it's more so going to
is
be
in
like
its
a
full.
comic in motion, kind of like what
To a degree.
what they did with Watchmen. They kind of
Without-
animated the pages,
without
but not.
the fugaziness of it.
Right.
Right.
It's not literally going to be animated panels, but what's going to happen is you're going to see all the art in its, in its fullness, and then the dialogue box will fade in. Now, somebody might say that's a neat feature. I don't have the fucking time. Give me the
Yeah.
word bubble. Then you'll have the option. The other option, digitally, which is what makes it really special, is there's this language you might be familiar with. Over half of the world's population speak it. It's Spanish. And comic books are not produced in Spanish for the most part until well after the fact, and not in their
After it's super
totality.
popular.
It takes a while for those books to come out in Spanish language. Our books, when they come out, are going to come out immediately with the option, just the same way that you can flip on, closed captions.
Yeah, if
you can clip it
call
on
a
English
1-800
or
number or
Spanish.
go to an ATM and get fucking Spanish or any other language, why not a comic
Why
book
not?
at this
and
point?
and digitally, it's nothing to just have the Spanish version.
Yeah.
So it's going to open us up to what I believe is a huge demographic, and readers who, through no fault of their own, have to usually wait and sit on their hands before they can get to something. And by that point, you can imagine if you couldn't watch that week's Game of Thrones or that week's Walking Dead or something like that for 3 or 4 months after the
Yeah,
fact,
because
you're fucked.
yeah.
You're stewed. It's been ruined, so to speak. And when we have fans who are waiting, with anticipation for the next installment, we don't want them to have to wait. So that's what I think is something that's awesome. And you talk about kind of like the giving back to the people. Look, with the big companies and whatnot, if you buy the physical book, that's what you get. You buy the digital book, that's what you get. If you buy our physical book, we will give you the digital download free. If you just want to buy the digital, so be it. Then it's going to cost you a little bit less, because it does the end for us as a producer. It costs us less ultimately to produce the digital version. It's just a download. It's not, no tree comes down, so to speak. But my personal preference, I love a paper comic book. That's a comic book to me. So even if it's just feeding my own personal preferences, I know that I'm not the only one that feels that way. You know what I mean?
There's something special behind every step of this. Not only content, not
Right.
only characters,
There's a reason
not only
for every
aesthetic.
choice that we made.
Yeah.
and the choices I do truly feel are rewards. And the concept, again, to go back of us versus them, we're asking the people that give us a shot, that give US Comics a real shot. We're shouting from the rooftops, bring us people who fell off. John hasn't paid $50 a week in a comic book store in fucking years. They lost him. The big companies were so desperately holding on to the change in their hand that as change fell from the heavens, their goddamn hand was closed. We come to you with open hands. And we're saying, join us and let's stop. We won't hurt you the way the others have. What do I mean by that? And John, at any point, tell me, I'll remove it from the show. How many
Stop.
How many characters have died and come back in the last decade?
Cap.
A dozen?
Yeah, I would say I challenge
Wolverine was recently.
name a top 10
He come
character
back?
from any of
Cyclops
the bigs.
was just killed. So Superman, of course, famously died not too
Phoenix
long
is-
ago. Phoenix keeps
Donna
fucking
comes
dying.
Professor X.
See, Phoenix is the only one I don't have a problem with dying and coming back, because that's what a Phoenix is. Everything else makes no
The
sense.
name's a little on the nose, which we'll get to in another segment.
On the nose.
But what if I promised you that? Okay, how about this? And I mean no judgment. They're clearly doing some things right. They're very entertaining companies. I give them money all the time. DC and Marvel have both recently stated that continuity means less than jack and shit to them. They've fucking said it. DC looked me and my pocketbook in the eye, and they said, "Go fuck yourself."
I
They
hate
said,
Charlie.
"Go
I
fuck
hate-
yourself." And
Yeah.
what are you talking about?
Yeah.
I just spent what 2
I'm
years
excited
reading the
for-
new
yeah.
52,
I just-
and none of it
And
matters.
it doesn't mean anything.
None
What a-
of it matters.
It's kind of a slap in the face. And you know what's really insulting is the way that they painted it. They said it literally in the sense that, well, we don't want to limit writers' creativity with continuity. And to me, it's like it's taking the tight rope walker who was walking 30 feet up in the air with a safety net beneath them because they can get away with things and they can time travel and they can reboot and they can retcon and all that jazz. And they said, all right, we're gonna let you spread your wings now. And they took the tightrope and they lowered it from 30 feet to 5 feet, and then they doubled the net. You know what I mean? They not only did they
It's a bridge.
they-
It's not a net. It's
they
a
they eliminated
bridge.
the work, the hard work. You know, when we sat there and we were talking about the shit that we wanted to do and the stuff that we would not do, some of the guys kind of sat back in their chairs because they were like, oh, like looking around, and and we acknowledged it. We're like, yeah, we're taking the path less traveled.
Yeah.
And it's not that we're like trying to we're gonna do things the hard way for doing it the hard way's sake. No, we're doing it the hard way because in that direction lies what we want. And Charlie, you broke the seal, so to speak, on some of those rules. And Gerard, I'll ask you. I don't know. I don't think you've seen this list, but
he hasn't.
okay. So again, you're the perfect example of who we're looking for. Like we're looking at you as the
It's-
prototypical buyer.
Yeah.
So what's something about
I'll buy
comic books? What's something about comic books? Any company, any title that you fucking hate?
The deaths.
Death is a
Deaths
big
ain't
one for
coming
you, right?
back.
All right, so we'll adjust that one first, and it's actually first on my
Because it
list.
just ruins the. It,
It eliminates.
what's done is done.
Why
for
does
me.
it matter? If you
Why does it
kill a
matter to
character,
me?
no.
To
If
the,
you
to the
kill
reader.
a character,
Yeah.
when they killed Captain America, did anyone think Steve Rogers wasn't coming back? Right
Wolverine-
now, he's old. Do you think he's not going to be young again?
Wolverine
He'll be
most
young again.
recently.
No, but whatever movie they decide to do, he'll be back. It's what you were talking
Right.
about before. It's funding their monies now. It's
E-
funding their
exactly.
movies now, and they don't
And-
really care about the books until they have to pump out another fucking Avengers movie.
Right. And people were talking about the all new Avengers and whatnot, and even the most
I'm sick of
base
the
readers,
It's just
it's relatively cheap and it's easy. And
it's like, oh, they're
Excuse me.
fucking Batman and Superman. They don't understand each other.
is
They're
there gonna
not
be-
like each other. Then
is
they're
there
gonna
be
be
a
super best
female
friends.
Thor in the movies? No. Is Falcon gonna be Captain America? Maybe for about 5 seconds. Like all these quote unquote changes and shakeups and whatnot, everybody knows Wolverine's not dead. It becomes comical.
Yeah.
So rule one for our our fundamental pillars: dead is dead.
Yeah.
Period. That's what readers can expect from us. You have a favorite character? We talked about a character who's going to meet their untimely end. And one of our creators on our board was broken up about it, was begging, don't kill blank. Don't kill
Yeah.
blank. And I said, that
That's
reaction is
actually the superhero's
exactly...
name. Is blank.
Yeah, oh yeah, blank is like so cool. That
Blank man.
reaction is exactly why
Yeah.
it's going to happen. We're making a statement, and and we're not doing it just to do it. Don't get me wrong.
It's important.
It's important to the storytelling. It's integral.
Now-
It's the most important thing
Let-
that's going to happen
Let
there.
me ask you,
Shoot.
okay, say you, whatever, 3 years in, you guys kill fucking, whatever, Birdman.
So
Kill Birdman. He's
Right.
he's done.
He's dead.
And then you find out how much money that fucking one character was bringing in, and you just not depend on that income from that
Mhm.
one character, but you see how popular it is. Do you try
no.
and no? What's
Zero.
wrong?
And
Is that- you are
here's-
you are
and
absolutely
zero-
sticking
and
to
here's
that.
why.
0%
Here's why.
chance of it.
I'm personally,
Because that's what I hate with fucking.
and I
comic
think
book
as a
companies.
company,
Let's
but
kill a fucking popular fucking character that we
I-
make shit ton money over. Oh, let's bring him back. Yeah, I
What?
fooled you.
Could you
Come on.
imagine if they truly gave Peter
Because it
Parker?
comes down to money. when
Imagine
do
if
it.
they truly gave Peter Parker a swan song. How that would resonate for everyone. He is Marvel Comics cash cow. That's why they'll never kill him.
Yeah.
You have no such promise
So why
from us.
why even pop that fucking out
Why
in the
kill
ether?
people? Because
Yeah.
people will die.
Because
No,
again,
no, no,
you're
but
talking
no.
about
I'm not
these
saying
people.
why you guys. I'm saying why then does Marvel do things like that?
Because, and again, this is you
Like
have
if
to
they
be very
know they're gonna
cautious
bring him
with the
back,
answer
what's
for
the
this.
fucking point?
Because they have you.
And they don't give a shit about
They
the story.
have you. DC has you. Marvel has you. Valiant
Starting
has
to have you.
more and more people. We want you too, but it's like
Ooh.
it's like the reader's the hot chick that everybody wants.
Yeah.
And we come along, and those guys are like picking her up late, and and insulting her and she's saying she got a fat ass. We're the good guy. We're gonna marry you. We're gonna put a ring on that finger, and we're gonna make promises, and fucking we're gonna stick to them. Period. There's no loopholes that are gonna bring back dead characters. Period. One of the really nice things about that fact also is with DC, they're dangerous with it, and Marvel's getting to that point also where you have mantles, where even if they do drop off a character, you can have a person by a different name and maybe it looks a little bit different, pick up the quote unquote mantle and run with it, and they have lost nothing.
Yeah.
Our characters with superpowers are one-offs. So if we have a character that can do whatever, pick a superpower in your head, that's what they can do, and they drop off, that's that. You're not going to see that superpower again. The same way that you're not going to see that person.
They're unique. They are like
They're
snowflakes.
exactly right.
And
exactly right.
we want you to fall in love with them. What I want, dude, is I want 3 years down the road, I want people on our message board still saying they have to bring back so and so.
Right.
They were my favorite.
Right.
They'll still exist in as
Sure.
much as there'll be posters. You could reread those
Right.
issues.
And we hopefully will have origin type books that'll come on, and it'll
Yeah.
be a throwback then, like remember
But
this
nothing
character?
will go past the
Exactly.
death.
And we have a working timeline, which is going to be something that people can go on the website and tap into, and it's like almost like a cheat sheet, So we want
Like
to tell an interesting
encyclopedia,
and
wiki for your
exactly
characters.
exactly right. We want a full and complete enough story that if somebody does jump on board later, they can say, "Wait, how did this person get their power?" and go back and access it, and it's all going to match up.
And I didn't even mean to cut you off, John.
No, sorry.
Ninjak is one of your favorite Valiant characters. Imagine if you could go onto a website, and as shit for Ninjak comes out, you can see all of Ninjak's dots and be like, Ninjak blew up Detroit?
Yeah.
When did that happen? You hover over it, and it says U.S. Comics Annual number 4.
Yeah.
You're not going to want that book?
Well, that's why absolutely. I feel like it'll be important to have an app. Like, 'cause, yeah, it'll be nice to have a really featured fucking website
Exactly.
encyclopedia.
Help me out.
But like an
Help
app,
me be a better
Oh, no,
reader.
dude. You go on your
Like,
phone. It's going to be a
That's
unique
what I
cell
mean.
phone
Like
experience
that's
for
something
you.
that has to be done because
You
how many
have
times
no idea.
I have to fucking surf the internet on my phone as I have a comic book in my hand. I'm not putting down the comic, going to my computer,
I'll
and
tell
that's why
you-
a lot of comic book companies they fall short.
I'll
they
tell you
just
right
don't
now-
do anything that's
Yeah, they don't help
They don't
you.
realize like, oh yeah, we do the comic books on our iPad, on iPads and Androids and all that shit, but you have to go to
Gerard,
the website
they
for
don't-
everything
They
else.
don't.
Like,
They
no thank
do
you.
not
true.
care about you.
Yeah.
And the analogy
I
of
know,
the
we have
analogy
real.
of a bad boyfriend isn't
They
far
are.
off.
Yeah.
Gerard,
But we always
want
go back
more
'cause
than
we're
that.
crazy.
Keep going back
We
to that
don't.
sweet dick.
We don't. You know what though? But it's like that's not always true. I haven't read a Teen Titan book in a decade
Yeah.
because I haven't read a good one. I haven't heard of a good one. I think like maybe I'll give it a shot. I look at something and I'm like, no, I'm okay. We want people to when we get off the ground a week from today, sooner than a week from today, technically. When you go to
In 5 days,
readuscomics.com,
maybe. Yeah.
that reward is a gateway, and we're asking you to join us.
You know what we're doing? It's and again, I don't want to build up expectation for something that won't be there. What we're doing is we're setting the bar. You're going to see something on that website that is going to establish what your as a potential reader level of expectation should be. It's it's one of those. If you're on a scouting mission and you went to go check out a baseball prospect, you show up to that game and the kid jacks 3 home runs, you're going to say, all right, I have a pretty good idea now what to expect. Really quickly before we run out of time, some of the other things that personally bugged the shit out of me that we decided right away that we were not going to have any piece of. We actually talked about it really briefly at the top of the show was no derivatives. There's never going to be concurrent male, female, or juvenile versions of the same character. So if we have Birdman, right, which we don't,
Yeah.
you have Birdman.
Well.
The very easy thing would be like, well, he's popular. Now let's have Bird Girl. Let's have Bird Boy. Let's have
Yeah.
Bird Dog, which is a thing. That's never gonna fucking
Bird
happen.
dog's a thing.
A bird dog. It's a thing.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Not as a character.
I was like, Jesus.
But that's one thing that you'll never. We're
It's that
never
meeting
gonna.
you missed.
We're never gonna play on. Like, hey, you know what? What character has really taken off? Again, Birdman. Let's make fucking 50 versions of that now, and then have the family. No, that doesn't
Yeah.
exist, right? So that's one thing to worry about.
It's dumb and lazy.
No clones.
Yeah.
No clones.
Ugh.
No offense, Spider-Man fans, but
Sorry,
the clone stuff was hot, steamy, smelly garbage.
Ben Riley wound up being cool, but for all the wrong reasons.
And it's also another example of whether it's intentional or not, it's lazy. It's too easy to snipe somebody off and say, "Oh, but you know what? That was the clone. Here's the
Yeah.
real person back again." It eliminates that emotional weight of occurrences, and also you can't attribute things.
Yeah,
to
so then,
person-
if you do ever decide to maybe kill him off,
or
it won't mean anything.
or not just kill him off. You know, when Doc Ock, as good as the storytelling was within the parameters, having Spider-Man in essence have a heel turn, the body of Spider-Man was
Yeah.
awesome. But if you want real gravitas, real weight to it, make him stay that way.
Yeah.
So they justify it by slapping Doc Ock's brain into his body, and then
Great
as
story.
everybody knew was going to happen, it reverted. You know, if you made him the fucking guy heel, what balls would it take for Marvel to take Spider-Man and turn him into a villain,
Yeah.
turn him into a heel? And you know what? And then the reader, they would still sell.
They
They
could
would
have
still
easily
read
turned
it.
it into like a Deadpool situation. What is he? Is he
Absolutely.
good? Is he bad? There we
Absolutely.
go. You know.
Can I
And
also,
it creates a conversation.
and again, we got all the time in the world you need, John. With Spider-Man and doing a heel turn, when he becomes Peter Parker's brain, fights its way through, and it was a little convoluted and rushed. For such an amazing story, they really, in my opinion, rushed the hell out of that last issue. This is how he was forgiven. He said a dumb joke, and they were like, "Well, that must mean it really was Doc Ock in his brain." Fuck him forever.
Yeah.
If he let a goddamn robot hurt my kid. Fuck you to death. Why'd you fight Doc Ock and let him take your brain, asshole? There's no
Or what about
meaning behind the choices they make.
What about the bystanders to something that happens like that? Where's the fear that it won't happen again?
Yeah.
You know, everything that happens within the pages should have ramifications. And again, you know, for those that might be listening, who are not big comic book readers and whatnot, it's just another, in my opinion, it's just another delivery system for storytelling.
Yeah.
You know, whether it's people sitting around and bullshitting over a beer, whether it's a TV show or a movie or a book or a comic book. It's the idea here is that we've got an interesting, engaging, and unique story to tell. It has a ton of moving parts. That's one of the things that really makes us different. Like Charlie said, it's not, oh, here's a couple of teenagers that finds a meteorite and now they got powers. That's again,
should not
can
use
it be
that
done? Can it be done in an interesting way and, you know, have cool moments and all that jazz?
Could be,
Absolutely.
but why?
But how
Why do
about
it
now?
over and
No,
over again?
multiply that times 10 then.
Yeah.
Is not now 10 times better? And that's the idea. You know, we have a huge roster of characters and they're all individually fleshed out beings. They all have their own motivations. They all have their own intentions. They all have their own directions. And as a reader, you're going to be able to pick and choose. You know, I daydream of a time when people are walking around with Team Anunnaki, you know, T-shirts on and things like
and
that.
proud.
You know, you're going to have people who I think associate with demographics because either it reminds them of them or they think, well, that's how I would line up if that was reality, or that's what they want to be or what have you. One of the other things is time travel. Time travel to me, again, is one of those. When it's done well, yeah, it's great and it's interesting. We use the analogy of Back to the
but this isn't
Future.
fucking Back to the
But
Future.
that's the thing. Back to the
or-
Future is a movie about time travel.
Yeah. This isn't.
You know, The Time Machine, H.G. Wells, was about time travel, and then it's the story that happens around it happens to be entertaining. This is not a comic book around time travel. Time travel would only ever be a device that's utilized to strengthen storytelling or to get you out of a pickle that
Yeah.
you may have wrote
Yeah,
yourself
like they
into.
killed someone off and they didn't mean to, or something happened.
Exactly.
It's like,
So-
oh, no, it's used for backpedaling.
So we're telling our readers now, at
Fucking
no point are you gonna have to worry about
time
somebody
treadmill.
coming out with some kind of time, device and whatnot that can spin the clocks back and undo something that happened. You don't have to worry about it. It's just not gonna happen. What else? Time travel clones, and this is just really something that's bothered me personally as someone who's invested years and years of my life in reading these stories. Is continuity and canon.
Mm-hmm.
If something happens, if you say that up is up and down is down and the sky is blue and blah, 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 and the water's wet, then you know what? I'm going to take you at your word. I'm going to hold you to that. We're telling our readers that's exactly what the case is. Hold us to it. If we say a certain person hates cats, you'll never see a panel where they're cuddling up to a fucking cat and it's not addressed. So we're going to stick to our guns for the storytelling. If we establish the way it is, that's the way it is. It's not going to change up. And in that same vein, we're not going to reboot.
Ever.
Period. It's never
No new
going
56?
to happen.
It's not a choice because we're
Not an
not
option.
going to put ourselves in a situation where we're not proud of what we did. We might make a decision to kill someone and then realize
we
"Fuck
might
me,
regret it.
I wish I didn't kill them. And we will have a way to tell that story through someone.
Right.
If it fucking affects me, if we kill someone and at the time sitting with John, who functions as a senior editor and I'm an editor, if we decide on something, we've killed this character, and 6 months later my stomach still hurts because I'm like, I cannot fucking believe we killed this person. That means I have a story I want to tell. That means I have something left to say about them, not something to say with them. You're allowed to miss shit. I miss my fucking dad. I would love to retcon that. I can't.
Yeah.
So when you invest time, when you invest cash money into our world, into our characters, when you join us, for lack of a better saying,
The comic book is more of a reality than a fantasy. Where
it's a fantastical
you're-
reality
you're-
that
you're
you get
not
to watch.
Once someone's dead in the comic book, yeah, he's dead. Someone dies in real life, that's it. They're not fucking coming back.
Right.
You know?
And just as important,
Someone doesn't like cats, that's not changing. You know,
Right.
if you don't fucking like cats in real life, and I write in the comic book, oh, well, we really want him to like cats. Why? Doesn't like cats. It's done.
It would make a cute panel. Fuck your panel.
Yeah.
Right.
That's
and,
it.
And
That's
again,
what we
and
said.
everything
Why
has a
backpedal?
reason, and everything has ramifications.
Yeah.
Otherwise, there's no point in the storytelling.
Yeah.
There's no point in even fucking mentioning it. If we have a character like Charlie, they're allergic to peanuts. If it even comes up, there's got to be a reason for it. That's the thing. And again, the same way that I have like daydreams about people going back and picking sides and debating and stuff like that. I also always want to make it a point. Everything, if it's worth mentioning, it's mentioning because it's important.
Yeah.
So as a
It's
reader,
there for a reason.
if we say, if we have a panel where something happens, nothing's innocuous, nothing's by accident, nothing's just thrown in. Pay attention. Something might come up issues later down the road, and you're going to be able to say, oh, wait a minute, and go back to a back issue or access it online or what have you and say, this is where those dots connected. I think one of the really, really neat things that's going to happen once we get to the monthly book stage, which I'm praying to God happens, is that those books happen along the same timeline. So a battle that might have happened in an Anunnaki book, you may also see the same battle, but from a different angle in the Mystics book, which I personally think is so neat for a couple of reasons. First of all, if you are going to invest fully and read everything that comes out, great, we love to have you, obviously. But there are going to be some people who identify or just like a particular angle. They're never going to be in the dark. You're not going to miss the big picture type stuff because on a year-to-year basis, we have these long stories. There'll be a story that's from cover to cover, from front to back.
Yeah.
And you're going to get that full experience. I got something out of that. I was entertained. That's always the main goal. But if you stick with it and you invest in it long term, there's going to be just as much of a payoff, that money shot, that the multi-issue payoff should be proportionally bigger. And that's what we're promising. It's about storytelling, and these are just these are the toys that we're using to get to that point.
I've never been so excited. I've dabbled in creative things before, but people that have kind of been along with me and Gerard and our journey with first CGR cast and now this, it's the same thing. We had something we wanted to do, and we did it. That's why I know this is gonna happen.
Yeah.
This is gonna happen. Join us now. Enjoy the party.
Get on board early.
From minute one. And I promise you, if you're here now, if you sign up now, if you join up now, if you
Perks.
stick with us, I hate to use the word reward, but when was the last time something that you loved you as hard back?
Right. Well,
That's what we're setting out to
Gerard's
do.
such a huge gamer. Gerard, how many games do you buy early? Because if you get this game early, you'll get the download pack, the special armor, the special weapon, the special character.
I've done that. Now I've kind of steered away from that because I realize what that's doing. Like, well,
What do
like,
they do
case in
for
point-
that? You can
well,
make
like
make it clear.
like GameStop. They will go to, let's say, the next Batman movie. They'll say, well, the developers, they'll go to them. Well, we're not going to sell the game unless you got to take that part that's already part of the game that people would have gotten for free. You got to make that a exclusive for us if people pre-order.
Even stupid stuff. The
So that takes
Batman
away.
66 skin is a PS4 exclusive until the fall.
Yeah.
Shut up.
And then everyone else can buy it. So they do
For $5
things like that. Best Buy does it, Walmart does it. They all do it. So
Kidding me?
that's your incentive. Something that was originally going to be in the game. But like before all that, so now that's why we have season passes for games.
Even that's bananas to me.
Well, that is for the developers to actually make money off of their fucking product because it was edited so much by retailers. But now, like before all that, they'd give you goodies, a keychain, a fucking little Lego dude for the Lego games.
Mhm.
All that shit's gone now. So there's no love back anymore for people that
Well, we
Love
love
this shit.
everybody, you know. So
Yeah,
with
we
their
no
mouths.
one's gonna love you harder or longer, baby.
The fact is we're setting out to do something that a smarter team would run away from.
That hurts.
When John said something at today's meetings and the other board members moved back in their chair with
Right.
a like,
People sat
Fuck,
back, their
really?
eyes open. They're like, "Oh, fuck."
it's not because John said it before. We don't want to travel down the hard road. We
Yeah,
just
it's not
have
by
to.
choice.
Yeah.
We
We're not
just
like
have
you
to.
We're not
to.
trying to be tough asses.
Yeah.
We're not trying to be shit tits.
The truth is, if
So
we're
now
gonna do it,
tomorrow,
we're doing
you
it
guys are gonna get a
full-
phone call. Be like, yeah, I'm out. Everyone else is gonna be out.
What I
Right.
mean is, there's a
Go eat a dick.
there's a method, and there's a
You're
rhyme,
replaceable.
and there's a reason
right.
for
And
everything.
You say that to me every day, though. You're replaceable. I'll get a text from him every single day.
in the
hey,
podcast. Super
hey, how
true.
are you?
Super
You're
true.
replaceable.
Jesus.
Just
Super
that.
true in the podcast. Yeah,
Man.
well, you know. I
But
like
for
to-
some reason,
I
I
like to
think
keep
he
on
just
a
says it to
shortened
say, yeah.
leash.
But I'm still here.
That's actually not me. It's Jen.
8 years later.
That's your fiance. That's your fiance reminding you.
Did you get their IDs mixed up or the same picture? For their
Jen and I
website?
switched it on purpose
Yeah.
because
He's
I'm
like,
way
oh,
nicer.
sweet. I get
Wait,
to see
no, the
Magic
whole-
Mike with Charlie tonight. Wait a minute.
Magic
Is there
Mike.
anything you want to give or tease or promise or
You know,
a
I mean, again,
declaration of intent?
if we caught anybody's interest with this conversation, first try to convince Gerard because I'm not sure that we have. But if anybody,
When Charlie's not fucking bitching at me, but yeah.
Gerard, you're not replaceable to me, buddy.
Oh,
Liar.
You're one of a kind.
yeah. Well,
Anybody
I
who
am one of
wants,
a kind.
anybody who's looking for additional information, again, there's going to be something really awesome, and it's going to really establish what you can expect. We're going to set the bar high at www.readuscomics.com. And for those whippersnappers out there that are more about the social media, we share everything on multiple outlets. Facebook, we are what are we? Just U.S. Comics at Facebook, or is
I
it
thought we
Read
were
U.S.
Read
Comics?
on everything.
Yeah, we're pretty good about this stuff.
I
well,
think it's Read US Comics.
I-
Like everything.
Read
is.
US Comics on Facebook. You can follow our fan page there. You can also follow us on Instagram and Twitter at Read US Comics. It's kind of what was available, but I think it's got a nice ring to
I
it.
like it.
It's like we're not just
It's not
asking you to
like
read it.
DC, Marvel.
We're
it's,
telling you, read it.
yeah.
Read US Comics, biatch.
Again, let's start off strong. I promise you a little treat. ReadUSComics.com. Gerard, you can play cool all you want. You've been such a cheerleader and a supporter thus far.
No,
I am
haven't.
just as excited.
All of it.
Just muted your mic there, so don't even worry about it. I am so excited to hand you. I'm so excited to hand you that script because I know why you don't read comics right now.
Because I can't read.
So
you have to.
I
Give
like
me
the
pictures.
when I hand you that finished comic,
Yeah.
the two staples,
I
beautiful
will
cover,
wipe my ass. with
one
it.
of one. You wish it'll cut you.
I the Charmin special edition.
I promise that this is something special. It's something new. It's something familiar enough that it's not going to be just banana strange, but it's going to be something that you're going to want to stick to. And again, I can't say it enough. Join us now. Join us. Be part of it. We want you. We need your money. Give it to us.
Yeah. That's one thing I wanted to say. When you guys make a Kickstarter and all that shit, don't be afraid. Just ask. Don't be like those other people that are like, well, we're doing this,
Have
so
you met
we
us?
kind of no. I'm
Have you
saying
seen
like
John's wife?
that's half. That's
kid's been
half the
shooting
reason.
above
That's
goal all
like
life.
75% of the reason why I don't donate to a lot of Kickstarters is because they make it seem like it's such a burden. Why they're asking?
No.
Ask.
And plus,
There
the fact
is
that
no problem in
getting
asking
something.
someone for help.
You know what?
So
somebody's
just
really
ask.
doing?
Don't be like, well, we're doing this thing, and you might be interested. Just be like, hey, we need money. We need your help. Please. That's all.
You know what people are really doing when they contribute to Kickstarter for our Kickstarter?
They get shit.
They're pre-ordering.
Yeah.
They're pre-ordering the book is really what's happening.
That'd actually be a better way to.
They really are. And there's
word it.
multiple levels, and there's gonna be all kinds of awesome
Swag.
You're not
gimmies and
donating. You're
swag.
pre-ordering.
Yeah, exactly. You're not donating. This isn't church. It's not the soup kitchen. We're telling
Yeah.
you what we're making. We're telling you what you're getting. And you know what? And again, there will be perks for getting on board the train early. Are we gonna slow down the train and let people jump on late? Of course, absolutely. But for
Long
those
train.
that are lucky enough to kind of catch this in the wind and see what's happening, they're not gonna be sorry, man. They're getting some awesome stuff, and there's gonna be a big payoff.
It's going to be ridiculous. If nothing else, it's going to be ridiculous. And Kickstarter, little teaser, you might be able to find a way to finagle yourself in the book. That information will come sooner rather than later.
Yeah, baby.
What are we thinking for the Kickstarter right now? Do we have a guess on the date?
Well, yeah, we have our tentative dates, but we'll update the listeners and whatnot. Let's just get them peaked, get them tingling in the nether regions now, and through those portals, and hopefully through the show as well. We're gonna keep them up to date with where we're at with everything. But it's everything is very close now. The process really begins. On a week-to-week basis now. There's gonna be big information dropping.
And again, you'll always be able to use 6 and 60 as your resource to getting that information right from
Because
one
Charlie
of the
will
mouths.
be leaving soon to start his little funny book.
Yeah,
company.
did you find a
It'll be
replacement for me
all-
yet?
No.
We'll
that's just
sponsor
gonna
it
be
still.
me.
It's the John and Gerard Show coming to you live.
It'd be
from the
so
Former
ironic
Studios.
if I'm just like I'm too busy to do it because of the comic and John shows
Charlie's
up.
like, I need you to edit. I need to edit me and Gerard Show. Thanks, Charlie. I appreciate it.
Again, for Gerard Nolan, I'm Charlie Rivera. Today we were joined by the CEO of US Comics over at ReadUSComics.com. Remember to tune in. You know what? Just tune in right now. Right now, if you go to ReadUSComics.com, there is a trailer waiting for you. Just hit play. Suckers.
Hopefully.
No, it's probably going to be right. Otherwise, I'll just edit it after the fact. Put a
Okay.
little disclaimer. Usually wrong. To das, folks. We'll talk to you soon. A big thank you to our sponsor, RoninVape.com. John, thanks for sitting down with us. Gerard, thanks for being you. I'm perfect as always. I might be half a panda, but I'm talking to you on a microphone. So peace out, Cub Scout.